Welcome back, tasties and tastettes, to another episode of FTWGT Weekly. It's your boy Lenny, joined again by Dante himself. I got my own name fucked up a
I
little
was
bit.
gonna say, how'd you mess up your own name?
Yeah, well, you forget sometimes.
Like,
Who
were you
am
gonna
I?
start it with a J? Were you gonna call yourself Jenny?
Yo hablo, Lenny.
Okay,
There
all
we
right,
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are back with another episode here this week. We got plenty of news on the forefront. We've got some trailers to break down, and stay tuned because we have a super special taste test this week.
Oh shit!
Big news are coming.
I don't even know about this.
You don't? I haven't told you.
Huh.
But there is some big news.
Big news.
Big news.
Oh shit!
Coming.
I'm intrigued.
But first, if you could, do us a favor. Hit the subscribe button for us. Throw those notifications on. Give us a like. Drop a comment down below. Tell a friend, ask a friend. All the like. Sharing is caring, as they say. But now let's get into the news, right, Dante? There's actually there's plenty of stuff on the agenda this week. But let's start here. Something broke the internet. Something broke the internet this week, Dante.
You talking about what I think you're talking about?
Well, now I'm intrigued. Are we talking about the same thing? I think we are. So, on three?
1, 2, 3.
GTA.
Hillary Duff. Oh.
I forgot you were a pervert.
Yo, bro, her post workout video or picture has been going viral. I've seen it all over my IG.
I saw that picture a few days ago. So Dante got horny in the text today.
Nah.
Boyfriends. And he sent a picture of Hillary Duff over to me, and he's like, if we don't have any topics, and it's like,
Bro.
I think we're just gonna do a whole hour on Hillary Duff's ass, dude.
Not an hour, I just want to, dedicate a little 5-minute segment,
We are 100% a pro Hillary Duff podcast. We have been
100%.
for years now, and you can actually research that. That is a 100% true statement. We've been talking about how great of a woman she is for a long time now.
I just want to say that girl aged well.
She looks like she's 20 still.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the same because that could get weird because she first appeared on my TV screen when she was
No, we can't say the same.
when she was a teenager. But
we were of age to appreciate her at that time, so it's cool.
Can you give me an age real quick? 'Cause I think she's got to be our my age. I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
She had to have been the same age as me growing up. She
Probably
was
age.
the premier age. It was her and then Ren from Even Stevens. Okay, she's got a couple years on me.
36. Wow.
Yeah. Can you look up Ren from Even Stevens' age real quick? See what you've done, dude. I didn't I was just gonna leave this topic for dead.
Christy Carlson Romano.
Yeah, she has a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm subscribed to it, but I don't really ever watch it. 39. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And then Shia. How old's Shia? I wasn't attracted to him, but I just...
Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah, for research purposes. 37. Okay. All right.
All in that ballpark.
Yeah. So these were the people who were supposed to play our age when they were on TV when I was younger. So they stand out to me.
It makes sense that they're a few years older, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why are they always older than what they're portraying on TV?
Well, I'm sure we're going to talk about this later, but do you remember Birdie from Nancy Drew?
Birdie. Yeah.
Do you know how old she is in real life?
No.
I looked this up today, actually. She's 23.
And she's supposed to be playing a 15, 16-year-old?
Yeah. She was literally born in 99. Fuck. So yeah, or 24 even, right? That's just the way they do it, dude. I remember I just finished watching the 100 again, right? Or finishing watching the 100. And the girl Octavia on that is supposed to be 16, and she was really 27 in real life.
Yeah, I don't get that.
They just do that shit. I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, but what I actually wanted to talk about, what broke the internet, not Hillary Duff's ass, was Grand Theft Auto. We got the trailer for GTA 6. I think it set it broke Mr. Beast's record for YouTube views. I believe I read, which is quite impressive. What were your so we just watched a lot of this stuff, like
Yeah.
literally before we started recording. What was some of your you said you actually watched it last night too, right?
Yeah.
What was some of your thoughts upon viewing?
I mean, right away, like, I'm happy Vice City's back. It looks very visually appealing. I noticed that throughout the entire trailer, there's a like big social media aspect to it that I don't know if it's going to be included in the game, but I'd be interested to see how that plays out.
So the first game came out in 2013, right?
Yeah.
So that was like early, like when Twitter was something people didn't really know how to use, right? Like that's when people were still using it like Facebook statuses. If you go back and look at like Twitter posts from back then, Instagram maybe wasn't a thing yet, and everything was kind of running through Facebook at the time still when that was coming out. Maybe people had like Tumblrs or some shit. So yeah, I have to imagine that that's like it, just the way the trailer was set up and the way the world is now, and like them sticking with like.
I guess to be fair, in GTA 5, didn't they have like their own parallel of like Twitter and Facebook?
Did they? So I don't remember.
I know they had Facebook. I can't remember if they had a parallel of Twitter.
I mean, I thought it was just like they had cell phones. That was cool. Did they have cell phones in GTA 4?
Yes,
they did. Okay. Yeah, Nico would call on like a flip phone or some shit like that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even a flip phone. I'm pretty sure it was a smartphone.
It was a smartphone.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you can do a lot with like like it's basically an iPhone that you have in GTA 5. So what I was meaning to say though is I like you just have to imagine that with the way like it's supposed to be a real world simulation essentially, like on crack, that they would have a Twitter or a TikTok or something like that you're gonna post like viral content in.
I mean, I guess another thing I'm really excited about too is like for PC players, like the modded version of GTA 5 has come a long way, like as far as what they can implement in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I might be thinking a little too far ahead, but I'm already looking forward to what kind of mods they'll have for GTA 6.
Well, it's interesting you would bring up PC, Dante, because you know what they haven't announced yet?
PC release date.
Yeah. They only announced console release dates.
Yeah.
Or year, not even dates. So like it's already saying 2025. So it's a minimum. We're getting a trailer now, but they're still so far out that you're over a year from it coming out. And like if they do it the way they did the last game, they didn't drop the last game until like November of the year it came out, I don't think. So if you go to November, I mean you're literally almost 2 years out from this
September.
game still being available. Bailey wants attention, everybody. You can hear that. Oh my god. Yeah. Stop. It's just, it's my time right now. This is my time. So that's a long time, dude. Like we're talking 23 months. Well, September, so you're talking like 20 months.
Yeah, something like that.
Till this is available. And it comes out. So let me ask you this: is that going to be enough to get a console? Because like we're PC gamers these days. If they announce that PC is not coming out until 2026, like early 2026 Q1 or something like that, are you waiting for a PC port, or are you going to buy the GTA version of PlayStation 5 that's available at the time?
I'm waiting for a PC port. I don't think one game is enough of a reason for me to go drop, $300, $400, $500 on a console.
Well, I do think it's a pretty dense game, so it would justify the purchase. However, the fact that we would just buy it again on PC would be the drawback for why I don't think it's worth it.
With their announcement, they also didn't confirm pricing, but I remember seeing like things like they were going to be charging like $150 for the game and a monthly subscription or something like that.
Okay, well that will get me to not buy in general.
I'm hoping those are just rumors, but like,
would you if it was $70 like a standard game price, and let's look at it two different ways. If it was $70 and a monthly subscription, or if it was $150 with no subscription, are you down for either of those options?
I mean, for the amount of play I get out of it, I mean, I guess it would depend how much that monthly subscription would be, but I hate to say I'd probably buy it either way, as dumb as that sounds.
I can't envision a world where I would pay $150 for a game and then still pay them monthly.
Oh, no, you said $70.
So I thought you were still saying like the original version. Outright. Yeah, so I think I could justify that. I was talking to somebody the other day about World of Warcraft, and like they were telling me that like they've had a subscription for World of Warcraft since like 2011 or some shit.
And that game's been out longer than that, so there's people with longer standing subscriptions. So.
Yeah, like and they could have said longer than that. I'm just throwing a number out there, I suppose. Yeah. But like, yeah, like they're paying like
I think it's like $20 a month.
Yeah,
or something
15
like that,
or
right?
20 a month. They said, and they've been paying it that whole time for World of Warcraft service. So it's not like unprecedented that a game that is constantly being able to be updated like these
The
are.
difference with like comparing it to something like World of Warcraft is that's a free download and all you're paying for is a subscription versus now we're talking about potentially buying the game and then paying a subscription.
Yeah, so what if they said like $60 but you're not eligible, or $70 but you're not eligible for any updates to the game?
I think it would be more viable for them to be like, all right, cool, $70 for the core game. You can't access any online features until you pay the subscription.
But then like they're gonna update the core game. Like that's basically saying the same thing, because if you have online features, you're gonna be getting up. You'd be paying to get updates to the core game. You know.
Yeah, but also like, you know, rolling out DLC and like the online gameplay. I mean, even look at GTA 5 has always been completely different.
Yeah, I think that if you charged 150, that would be realistic to me to say like you have access to, like, you're paying up front for the fact that like this is a game we're not going to put on another one for 10 years. So we'll charge you double the price of what a normal game would cost.
I mean,
and
just
that's paying
based
your
on like
upgrades.
based on like playing replayability, like it's still worth it to me. Versus like there's other games we pay like $70 for and we'll play it for like a year and be done with it.
Yeah, my only beef is like, so on PC it makes sense to me a little bit more to make me pay a monthly subscription. But like on console, you're having people have to pay for
They're already
online
playing,
access
yeah.
to their console like internet itself, which is a crazy premise when you think about that.
Yeah.
Like your console has, well, I get it, it's like server stability and stuff like that in a way that you're paying
But it
for.
doesn't make sense because they're still hosting the service for PC too.
Yeah.
So like, why are they not charging me a subscription there?
Yeah, like if it's because Call of Duty has like BattleNet, right?
Yeah.
Like if Grand Theft Auto did that, if Rockstar had their own, like you had to go buy through them directly.
They do have their own launcher.
Do they? Okay,
Yeah.
so I won't be able to buy it through like a Steam.
So like, I know GTA 5 right now, you could buy it through Epic Games, Steam, Rockstar. There might even be other launchers you can get it through. But you could buy it basically directly through them too.
And all the private servers, like the roleplay servers and stuff, do those have costs associated with them?
No. All of those are free. Some of them, they have like whitelisted communities where you have to like apply to be a part of the server, and some of those have subscription side to them, but most of them are free.
It's one of the few games that could propose these kind of questions, right? But I do wonder, like, the trickle down effect that has on other gaming, like games that come out, because you think about how like what No Man's Sky or something like that, right? Like these games that were supposed to have like ever evolving worlds that you could like live in and
I
basically
think the
build.
problem with games like that though is no matter how vast their open world is, it's still a pretty singular focus. Like even like a game like No Man's Sky, you're just focused on exploring. But like GTA could literally be anything. You could focus on, you know, being a gangster and going around robbing people, you know, shootouts, racing. You can do casino. Like there's so many different aspects to the game that it can literally be anything, that I get why they would want to charge more for it.
Yeah, I just wonder if other games will try to chase that high a little bit, right? Like that money that can just flow in nonstop by having like that kind of game. And I don't think that any game, to your point, I saw this like, and I don't remember the exact quote, but it was a quote from 2013 from Hideo Kojima, who's the person who created Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
And when they came out with Metal Gear Solid 5, GTA came out not long after that. And like he had these like high hopes for Metal Gear Solid 5. It was like the first open world. It's the only open world Metal Gear game. And like it had these grand ideas for what it could be. And then GTA came out and he was like, I'm sad today because I know that I could never, like, that my game will never be what Rockstar can do. And like that they are levels above anybody else, you know?
It's insane, yeah.
And it says a lot. Like, you know, you look at the graphics that were in this trailer, and that's obviously in-game engine, and I have to imagine like the graphics already look really good on GTA 5, so they're only going to get better, right?
Yeah.
That trailer legitimately felt like you were in Florida, right?
Yeah, no, it was sick.
From like not just like the Miami feel of Vice City, right? But also like the sticks of Florida, like the like the dude like on the front lawn mowing his lawn in his fucking underwear, or like the alligator in the pool. Like you have like the whole aura of Florida, like the main city, and then like the exterior areas where it's a little like more, sticks.
Yeah, because Vice City was only supposed to be a part of the map. There's still going to be like a larger aspect to it. Similar to like how GTA 5 brought back Los Santos, when then they explored with like the top half of the map where you had like the rural area.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be even bigger than that map.
I think that's
Yeah, you think about like the size this game is going to be when it eventually comes on PC. Like I'm probably going to have to get a separate hard drive for that.
Yeah, it's true too. Huh? I mean, and that's a game that'll make you upgrade your graphics card too, I feel like, or something,
Oh yeah, that was one of the things me and my boys were talking about. They were like, "Oh, 2025 release. At least they're giving me time to save up for a 40 series graphic card."
Yeah, no shit, huh? Like I should probably start putting away some money now.
Yeah.
You have an article up there with some stuff we might have missed. Is there anything we haven't talked about so far that's listed on there that might be interesting?
I guess one of the big things we didn't touch on is this is the first time that GTA is launching a female lead character.
Yeah. That'll be, I won't play as her.
Well, she's a character you have to play as. It's kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde situation from what it looks like. Like it's her and then a male character.
Yeah.
So that seems interesting. Let's see what else we got in here.
It's like, do you really want to play as a character that's just going to be like cooking and cleaning and babysitting the kids?
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about this. So according to this article from Game Radar, they are confirming social media is going to play a big part in the game.
Okay. So is it like, well, because it's interesting. You bring up like Bonnie and Clyde, and is it essentially you're gonna play missions and they're gonna be going viral because they're running through, breaking into all these.
That would be sick. There's probably going to be like a popularity meter, like how many followers can you amass from like all the crazy shit you're doing.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That'd be sick.
Because you have to like that Bonnie and Clyde like thing. Like if that was happening now and there was like a couple going like across the country robbing like convenience stores and banks and shit like that, that would grow immensely the further down the line you went without getting caught.
Yeah. I guess I wasn't paying as close attention as these people were here, but they said wildlife is also going to be a big thing to the game. So I didn't really notice any animals when I saw
the
it.
Alligator, dude. The pool.
I mean, aside from like the alligator, but like they're talking about like there was even a chihuahua in the trailer. I didn't see that. So like dogs, I guess, are going to be confirmed to be in the game.
Well, you had a dog in the last game.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you did. You'd walk around as the black dude with like a pit bull, right?
I don't think he had a dog.
Yeah, he did.
I thought you were calling him the dog for a second.
No, that's fucked up. What was his name? Franklin?
Franklin, yeah.
Can you look up like Franklin's dog? Can we just like verify this for me? Because I'm almost sure you could. Bailey, you stink, dude.
Oh yeah, her breath is kicking.
No,
shit, yeah, he did have a dog.
It's her ass,
no.
Dude.
Okay, so Chop was the dog's name.
Chop, yeah. Okay.
It was a Rottweiler. It was Lamar's dog and later Franklin's. I don't even remember that part of the game.
Yeah, he would walk around with you.
You know what the problem is? Like that was part of the storyline. I played that back in 2013, and then it's all just been GTA Online. So
it's crazy that that's not in the online.
Yeah, that is crazy. Actually.
That you don't have different dogs and stuff like that you can have. Have a little cat that you're rolling around with.
I guess the question is there going to be a first-person mode in this? Because they didn't show any of that in the trailer.
They didn't show any real gameplay in the trailer, though, either.
That's true. I don't really think...
Was there not first-person mode in the last one?
In GTA 5, there was on the next-gen release. So remember how it came out on 360 and PS3 first, and then they re-released it on PS1 and PS4?
I'd have to imagine that's a feeture.
It's got to be, but like, why would they have to highlight it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's more where it's like, why is it a question? When they say wildlife, I wonder if it's more than just like you have a dog or like you come across an alligator. Like if there's more to it than just that. Did they ever put sharks in the water in GTA 5?
No. That was the thing in one of the previous GTAs, no?
Well, I thought they thought they had put something in the water in GTA 5 at one point.
Not that I can remember, no.
Huh. Yeah, cause you look at like what games like, Red Dead have been able to do, like in
And
same
that is
company,
Rockstar,
right?
so like they should be able to implement some of that like wildlife feature into this
fairly easily. Like
Yeah.
if you go to like there's probably like if you do like a mission in like the swamps, like the Everglades or something.
Oh well, yeah, you'll have gators to worry about.
But you could introduce a lot more than gators. I feel like in the Everglades,
Yeah,
maybe
true.
some snakes,
Yeah. Ooh, okay.
maybe an anaconda.
My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
There was a lady in this that had some buns on her.
Oh, the one that was twerking on the roof of the car?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, she was doing good for herself.
Had that BBL.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I'm seeing here that they pointed out was they noticed at least 3 different gang factions.
So like a couple different colors.
Yeah, so it looks like gang life is going to be prominent in this again.
That has to make sense.
Yeah. That was all I had for that, I think.
Okay. So obviously something to look forward to. We'll get a lot more information over the next 20 months prior to it coming out. It's going to be the highest selling game of all time, regardless of whatever price that they put it at, I have to imagine. And, we mentioned the 2025 release. There was a list that I read today of things that are coming out in 2025, and I just wanted to run through them real quick for you, Dante. So obviously we start with GTA 6, but you also have Avatar 3. So like that's another one that's going to do, huge box office numbers, I have to imagine. So we could be on record-breaking watch for that. We have the Batman 2 that's also coming out in 2025. Fantastic Four, 2025. That's huge. Shrek 5, 2025. Superman Legacy, and you have a live-action Minecraft movie.
Oh?
So a lot of stuff on the docket for 2025.
Did we ask for that?
I definitely did not. But
like, what is that movie going to be about? They're just building shit?
I don't know, but like you look at like this year in general, and it's like there's been movies coming out that you're like the Barbie movie, for instance, that you're like, how's this gonna work? How's it gonna be good? And then it ends up being the most successful movie of the year, right? So
Crazy.
Minecraft, very much the same way. I could just see them pulling something out of their ass, and like it ends up being just as, even like Mario was getting trashed prior to it coming out. It makes a ton of money. Minecraft's obviously going to have a built-in audience right off the bat, and then if anywhere
that drops like over the summer or over a school vacation, it's going to kill.
Yeah, and then if it's anywhere good and you can get the adult audience, because I think that's the other thing we miss in here is that Minecraft isn't a game that's still just played by kids.
That is true.
I know
that is true.
Decent amount of adults that
you're right
still play it. So
I guess I shouldn't base it on the fact that like you or I have no interest in it.
No, I've never understood it. Like it's never really appealed to me. I don't think I've ever actually played it.
I have, but it was just like, all right, cool, this isn't interesting to me.
Yeah, like I don't get it. It just doesn't really land for me. But yeah, it lands for a lot of people, so it's gonna do big numbies.
Numbies. I love that.
Big old numbies. All right, next up. We had talked a few weeks back about Ocean's 11 getting a prequel.
Okay.
And it was going to be a project that includes, speaking of Barbie, Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie.
The hot goss.
Yes. So Barbie and Ken are going to be appearing in an Ocean's 11 movie. And so there's some details that have come out about the plot to what that's going to be about. Okay. And I find it to be interesting because it was like, what were they going to do to make this like premise interesting or get people to care about the Oceans franchise again? Because Ocean's 8 didn't do well. Nobody really gave a shit about it.
That was the one that was the all-female cast, right?
Yeah, Sandra Bullock was playing like the sister of George Clooney's character.
Gotcha.
So it was a sequel. This, on the other hand, is going to be based in 1962. It's going to be a prequel. And it's going to be based at the Monaco Grand Prix. And it's going to follow the couple as they teach their children how to steal from the rich.
I like this already, actually.
That's like I think that's an interesting premise. I like the period piece. I like going back to the 1960s rather than doing something modern day.
Well, I think also like heist movies are more interesting in like the past versus modern day. I think there's just too much technology that overcomplicates it.
Yeah, well, exactly. You're 100% right on that. And just like the aesthetic and the feel of like the 1960s era for bank robbery, or in this instance, I assume it's going to be a heist, but it's going to be, from maybe the vault at the Grand Prix or something, you know.
Okay, yeah.
That sounds pretty cool to me, and obviously led by two very good actors, have like a sexy feel to them too, and you put that into that ambiance, and it sounds like it's a recipe for success. I don't want to say high hopes, but it's something that I'm interested to see once we get a trailer, once there's more details coming out. It's something that I'm intrigued by for sure.
Okay.
So we want to get into some trailers, or do you want to actually? Let's do Bob Iger talk first.
Okay.
Because we have like 3 trailers to get into. Let's just rattle them off all in a row rather than breaking it up. So let's go with Bob Iger here.
Okay.
So there's been a few different articles that I came across this week with some thoughts from Bob Iger about the current state of Disney, and I wanted to kind of run through some of those. So let's start here. We're box office guys. We talk about performance on here quite a bit. The Marvels is out of the movie theaters now. It is the worst performing Marvel movie, I believe, in history, is what it's at as far as current performance. And Bob Iger had some thoughts on why that may have happened. And he essentially, and you have some direct quotes there, right?
Yeah.
He blamed it on lack of supervision due to the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Can you give us the exact quotations?
Crap.
You said you were going to have this already, dude.
I know, I tried, and then you told me we weren't going to talk about the Marvels, and I think I closed that tab.
Why? No, I never said. You were like, oh, you're talking about the Marvels, not like Marvel, not the Marvels. It's like, well, we're going to talk about both. I didn't know you took that as. If not, I have it.
The Marvels was shot during COVID. There wasn't as much supervision on the set, so to speak, where we have executives that are really looking over what's being done day after day.
Sound like a cop-out?
It sounds like you're making an excuse for, something that I guess doesn't really need an excuse, but overall it's just like he's kind of excusing the state of the MCU as it is.
I mean, you just look at, like, there's plenty of stuff that's come out in this past year that were all filmed during or directly after the pandemic. And they, like, with the resources that Disney has, I can't see where a lack of resources is ever going to be an excuse.
Because we had good movies come out that were filmed either, right at the end or, during the pandemic.
During it, like that were like taking weeks off to film. Like there was like, I keep thinking like Mission Impossible is one of the big ones that stands out to me. Like they had a ton of trouble filming that. I'm sure whether it was like Barbie or Oppenheimer or any of these movies, like they weren't just filmed in the past like 6 months and then put out in the theaters. Like that stuff was happening.
And these are studios that don't have the same bankroll that Disney has.
Yeah, it's just like you can't blame you lack of supervision is like, well, somebody needs to be fucking held accountable, huh?
Yeah.
Like somebody wasn't doing their job, buddy. It wasn't that you had a lack of people to do supervision. It's that the people you paid to supervise didn't do a good job of it. Right?
Yeah.
And so I like that was one really telling thing. None of these comments really like looked great for Disney that I saw. There was another one in here that was about sequels. Do we still have that one up?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I was just reading another quote. So
okay.
Now he's blaming streaming.
Okay, what was his thoughts on that?
So he says the experience of accessing films and watching them in the home is better than it ever was. And it's a bargain when you think about it. Streaming Disney Plus you can get for $7 a month. That's a lot cheaper than taking your whole family to see a movie.
$7 a month is a lie, by the way, right? It's more expensive than that now. I think he's off on the cost.
And then, like, the ending part of that quote is just, so I think the bar is now raised in terms of quality about what gets people out of their homes and into movie theaters. So now he's basically just saying, oh, because they can watch stuff at home, we can't put out stuff that sucks, but we're also going to excuse stuff that sucks with COVID.
Yeah, I think that that's going to be an easy excuse for any executive at any movie company now that for why their movies fail, right? Is like, oh, well, like if you wait long enough, it'll be on streaming and that's going to make people not want to go. And there is certainly validity to that statement. I'm not trying to say it isn't, because we both probably know people who don't go to the theaters and they're going to watch it when it gets to streaming. That's cool. But
yeah,
it's been proven at this point that if you make a product that is good enough and provides enough intrigue, that people will go back to the theaters and will watch it.
I also just don't think, like, if we're talking about, like, MCU, for instance, right? Like, those are movies that overall have been more on the visually appealing side, like a really good movie theater experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like not a lot of people have like crazy home theater setups at home where they have the huge nice TV, the surround sound, and that whole ambiance where they can enjoy it just the same at home.
Oh, well, so I don't know. Like, I tend to agree with some of his premise there that, like, a large portion of people at this point have, like, a 65-inch or bigger TV in their house, right?
Yeah.
Of varying qualities, as me and you would know better than most, right? Like there's a large spectrum of what the quality of those TVs may be. But as far as, like, being like, I want to have it be like I have a movie theater in my house. Like, anybody can have a fucking 75-inch TV in their house.
How close people get to that, it varies in terms of enjoyment. You know what I mean? Like, if I have a cheaper end 65-inch TV, I might be able to see the imperfections and be like, nah, I'd rather watch this in the theater. But to a lot of people, they're like, oh, it's just a huge screen. Like, I'm loving it.
Yeah, well, and that's like, yeah, that's the misconception of becoming like, yeah, I just need to have a big screen for it to be like I'm in the movie theater.
Yeah.
But, like, I saw a screen capture of, like, a person I follow on Twitter who, like, has a podcast. They talk about movies and everything, and I was like, being a snob, and they took a picture of their TV, and it was like, just watched another, like, masterpiece. It was like, another movie they really liked, and I was checking what brand it was, and it was a Hisense.
Oh,
and I
my
was
God.
like, I kind of look down on you now, dude. Like, you're a person who, like, gets paid pretty well to, their job is to review movies and talk about movies and stuff. And
I mean, now you're gonna come to me. I don't think it's fair to downplay like some of those like budget brands either, because you got to get your start somewhere, and like they're starting to get some pretty good technology in their TVs. Just maybe the quality control isn't there, but like, it could still be a good picture.
You get a mini LED like TCL or Hisense TV, and they can look very nice. I'm not trying to say they won't. I think the things that, like, not to go down this road too far on, like, nerdy TV talk. It's, to me, like, motion is the biggest issue on those TVs. Like, I don't think that they handle motion as well, but the, like, actual picture quality, like the colors and everything, can still look very good on them. So I know a name brand's not everything. It's just funny to me when I'm like, I just assume if you're really like a cinephile, like movie snob,
then you'd have like a Sony or an LG
buy like
TV,
that you'd have a fucking OLED.
Yeah.
Like if you're a person who's gonna like watch these movies at home and you genuinely enjoy them, and you have the means, you just buy an OLED, dude. Like, they're not even like a mini LED and an OLED are basically the same price. So it's not even that crazy of a difference. But back on topic here. That's not the thing driving people out of the theater. I do think quality control, and he mentioned at a different quote that quality over quantity is something that they're going to be looking at doing more of. And I don't know if I believe that, though, because you're still going to pump out a million Star Wars things and a million Marvel things to your streaming platform for $7 a month, as you said it. So is that quality or is that quantity? Because you haven't had a show come out. I mean, people like Loki's great, but I think Loki's also a product of you've put out a bunch of bad stuff. So once we got something that was like,
it's the whole throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, like you're gonna get one eventually, and if you lower the bar far enough with all of the stuff you're putting in the movies and stuff you're putting onto your streaming platform, that when you put out something that's halfway decent, it's overrated. It's not rated fairly or underrated. Right? Because I said it, like I don't think that Loki was as good as people say it is. I think it is good. Tom Hiddleston's great, but like we're overselling it just based on the fact that like you were giving me Moon Knight and fucking She-Hulk before this, like we didn't even watch Secret Invasions, but I'm sure that would have been the first one that came to mind if I watched it, But I have people that have watched this every single series week by week that comes out on that streaming service that told me that's an unwatchable series. So I'll believe quality over quantity when I see it, because the other thing that he had mentioned was that he doesn't want to apologize for making sequels. He said, we've had too many, but that doesn't mean we're not going to continue to make them. We only greenlight a sequel we think a story is worth telling. And there's a picture that goes along with this that has Toy Story 4, which would be Toy Story 5 now, not 4, right? 4 already came out.
Yeah. It's 5 is in the works though.
Yeah,
right?
It's in the works, yeah. Frozen 3, Zootopia 2, and then you have Deadpool 3. All in there. Deadpool, I think, is a little bit different. Obviously, it's part of a bigger universe now, and it's being brought in. I do think I'm getting a little worried about Deadpool. If we want to talk about that for a second,
Really?
though.
What's worrying you?
Too many characters. Like, it was cool when it was just like, oh shit, like Hugh Jackman's on set and they're gonna integrate Wolverine into this.
Yeah.
But now it's like I'm seeing characters from like the old X-Men movies, like Toad, Sabretooth, like Liev Schreiber's supposed to be on there. I saw the girl from Logan who plays like X or something. What is it? Like the girl Wolverine.
Just
like,
based on what you've said so far, it just sounds like they're gonna overshadow Deadpool as an X-Men movie.
They're just lumping a lot of shit in there, and like that. Then okay, like we talk about quality over quantity. It's like, well, no, I think what happened was No Way Home did really well, right? Like from integration, you got a bump on Doctor Strange from integrating all these like other characters and the buzz you got off of that. So did we figure out a way to like guarantee that people show up to our movie at least week one by them wanting to be intrigued by who's going to show up in this movie? And is that what multiverse now is like how many different characters can we find a way to sneak into our film, you know? So yeah, it's giving me a little pause because a movie like that can easily lack focus if you lump all those characters in. I'm still hopeful. I think it should still be good, but it does worry me a tad. But you know, like, are people clamoring outside of like kids for Frozen 3? Can't imagine it. I don't know that Zootopia, I know it's a good movie, but I don't know that anybody was like, we need another one of these.
I think it's an underrated one.
Yeah. What are you doing, Bailey? She does not want to chill out at all. Yeah, I that's a questionable statement from Disney of all people. Like, because I do think with the amount of money that they have, they do get to just make all of these things, and like there is no ramifications really for if it's bad or not, right? Like what is the real negative effect? I think you're seeing it a little bit with the downturn of Marvel, like the movies like kind of trickling down in terms of revenue they're bringing in movie over movie.
Yeah.
But all they have to do is throw out a Deadpool 3 and like they're back in the green or the black, whatever you want to say as far as being profitable.
Yeah.
You work with Tom Holland and you get a Spider-Man 4 out there. There's always going to be something that they can do to bring it back to where there's no real stakes at hand here for Disney specifically on putting out a bad movie.
That's fair.
Yeah. Okay, that's Bob Iger talk.
Yeah, I don't think we gotta keep beating that up.
That's talking Bob. So let's roll into some trailers. I think we're gonna have a mixture on this as far as how much like to talk about, because you know, like we'll start here. Like Fallout, for instance, just had their trailer come out for a TV show that they're gonna be dropping on Hulu in 2024. Were you a person who played Fallout at all?
I played it a little bit. I played more of Skyrim, but I didn't really get too deep into Fallout.
So I played like Fallout 3 a little bit, not like a huge game for me. And that's why I say
Fallout
like
4, but like I didn't play like the whole thing through, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so the trailer, there are going to be people who watch this trailer and picking out Easter eggs and we're like, this is
they're losing
incredible.
their shit, yeah.
Right? Like I don't have that attachment to it. But I will say this. That trailer looked really good.
It did, yeah.
I think that we are in a world now where they figured out that like going to the movies with video game stuff isn't the formula, and maybe TV series are, right? Obviously looking at The Last of Us, I know a trailer just dropped for Halo Season 2 as well. You know, I've heard mixed things on that. I didn't watch it myself, but like that could be terrible. I don't know. But it does
Speaking of Last of Us, real quick, did you see that they're pushing it back because what's his name? Pedro Pascal has too much going on?
I'm not surprised. The guy's fucking name's attached to everything. And you have to think, we talked about Gladiator last week.
Yeah, so that was one of the big things that we're pushing it back for, because he's filming with Gladiator, and I guess the schedules are going to be too conflicting.
Yeah.
And it was basically just like, all right, cool, y'all got to wait.
I mean, I heard like early 2024 was when they were like February was when they were planning to resume filming or something.
Yeah.
So not that far off, and that's around the timetable. Like that's fine. I don't want them to rush into that either. You know,
No, you definitely don't want them to rush it.
But yeah, I just wonder if they've realized that like video games are dense, especially like games like The Last of Us, like Fallout, because Fallout was a very interesting world. That's why people fell in love with it.
Especially games like that have like a huge following. You know what I mean?
Yeah, get it right, because
Yeah.
you're gonna make money. You're gonna make money hand over fist because those fans, and it's why it never made sense to anybody that video game movies were always such bombs and they never like stayed true to the source material, because it's like, dude, like it's the same thing we're talking about with Minecraft, right? Like
Yeah.
video game movies should have a built-in audience, right? So you
Yeah,
should
like
have
you
a
already have a
general
winning formula.
yeah, you should have a general idea of who's going to show up for it, and if those people love it, then word of mouth is going to spread and those movies should make more money. And instead, you got like the Tomb Raider movies that were like, hey, Angelina Jolie's sexy, let's focus on that and not really surround it with a good movie, or outside of that. And that could be said for all of the Tomb Raider movies. I actually like the most recent one more. But yeah, like that's always going to be like an easy one to look at. There's obviously more, but video game movies until recently, even like an Uncharted,
Yeah.
I enjoy that movie. But what did Uncharted really do? They got big name actors and dropped them into a skeleton of what Uncharted actually is.
Yeah.
And that movie should lend itself more to the movie theaters, but TV shows, obviously just doing a 10 episode run or an 8 episode run, each one's an hour, and you can really flesh out some of the stuff that you get from these TV shows, from these video games, that are very story driven. Those are the games that you're going to get good transitions from. I've always wanted a Metal Gear Solid, like TV show or a movie to come out, because
Yeah.
Hideo Kojima, for what it's worth, was like kind of the person that revolutionized the cutscene. Like how important it was to have these like movie like cutscenes that lent so much to the characters that you're playing as, and it felt like you played through 30 minutes of the game to get to a movie that you're watching, or a cinematic that was like a movie, and then you'd play through another 35 minutes and you'd get to the next one, and like kept progressing things,
Like really roped you into the story. It's like you're watching
Yeah.
a movie, but you also get to be a part of it.
Exactly. And you just take that stuff, and you don't need to do a carbon copy. I don't, like to a point, The Last of Us did kind of carbon copy the game to the TV show.
Yeah,
But
they
nobody
didn't
complained.
take a ton of freedoms, but like they did it very well.
Yeah, nobody complained about that. It was like heralded for it. Like people applauded it for how loyal it was to its source material. Because at the end of the day, we want to see that stuff brought to life.
Yeah.
So the Fallout stuff, it's like, for what I do remember about it, it's like I remember Fallout 3 being in the bunker as that girl, and like the first time you leave the bunker and go out into that world, and they show that stuff in the trailer, and it's like, for the little I played of the game, I immediately recognized that stuff. Like I knew what was going on, like,
Yeah.
and so I'm sure if you're a loyal fan of it, you're like, this looks awesome visually. It looks like it's staying pretty true to what we know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I'll watch some breakdown trailers and they'll be like, this isn't in the fucking game. This isn't in the fucking game.
Yeah, all the super fans will tear it apart.
But I can say from an outside perspective, I have an Amazon Prime membership. Looks like it's good enough for me to want to check it out.
Did you like the bit where they said, from the studio that brought you The Boys and free 2-day shipping?
Yeah, so it's funny you say it now and I actually get it. I did not get it when they...
Oh, you didn't notice when I chuckled when it came up?
So I read the line, but I was like, what movie is free 2-day shipping? And it wasn't until this moment that I've realized Amazon Prime
Yeah.
2-day shipping. That's very funny, actually. That's super clever.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a good line for them to throw in there, because it's true, right? Like,
Because it's like, oh, we got so much more for you than just this.
Yeah. So next up, Mad Max.
What was it, Furiosa?
Furiosa, and it was the Mad Max saga, which is making me wonder, because obviously, like Mad Max, there's 3 Mel Gibson movies, and then you had the Tom Hardy, Charlize Theron movie.
Yeah.
Is this part of the saga because it's the 5th in that like alignment, or is it?
I think this is just Marvel syndrome where everybody wants their own universe.
Well, they've had a universe though. The first Mad Max came out in like the 80s.
Fair.
And they've taken time between the first 3, and then like I don't think Fury Road came out until probably 2011, 2012. Can you double check that for my necessity of feeling like I'm close on years to stuff? I feel like I might be off by a few. It could be later.
2015.
Yeah, fuck. I knew it after I said 2011, 2012. I was going to come back with 2014. Yeah. So they've taken time between what they're doing, and have you seen any of them?
Not really.
So like, I don't remember as well the first three that kind of built the franchise. Gibson as Mad Max is awesome, right? And there are these crazy, weird movies that like fit the time period very well, like the campiness of that era.
Okay.
But still like heavy action, which is cool. Fury Road is one of the best movies of the 2010s.
Okay.
Can you look up how many awards like what that, and specifically for sound design, that movie won like crazy awards. It's a great movie, and it's one I would highly recommend. I don't really remember a ton, but this feels like it's like right out of the world that they've built. Like it's perfect in that regard. A lot of stuff on there. Yeah. It was highly acclaimed. It was a great movie. It's heavy action, and then the visuals and the sound is just great. I believe they re-released a black and white cut of that movie or something like that too. That did well.
Okay.
I don't really understand the plot as much with this, and I don't know if I like Hemsworth. You know, Tom Hardy got a lot of praise for his work in the last one, and him and Charlize Theron like hated each other from filming that movie together.
Really?
Yeah, they just didn't click well on set, but you couldn't tell, and like both of them are both highly praised for their performances in it, and I think they're fine now. But like, yeah, while filming it, I'm pretty sure Tom Hardy's very much a method actor. And so it just didn't play well with like his co-stars at times.
Method actor is like when they don't break character on or off set, right?
They fall very far into their role. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And you know, that can be hard to work with for some people, but it's like also like they've said like Daniel Day-Lewis I think is the most famous like method actor of these days, but like a Shia LaBeouf I know was like really tough to work with on that movie Fury, because of the way he got into the role. And at times it was like unbearable, but like everybody kind of forgave him for it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I forget, there's some crazy stories about like I wish I could pull them right now for Shia LaBeouf on that movie Fury, but I think he was like sending was it like, well, so no, you know the one I'm thinking of, wasn't it what's the dude from who played the Joker in Suicide Squad, Jared Leto. Wasn't he sending like used condoms or something like that to his co-stars and shit?
What?
Yeah.
That's just wild.
Yeah, like do you have the Shia LaBeouf one? Like I feel like Shia LaBeouf might have sent like dead rats or something like that. I don't know.
Might have found some. Oh wait. Oh okay, yeah. Shia LaBeouf went to extreme measures to create an authentic performance for Fury. What did he do? Shia began to get a feel for daily life as a soldier. Alright, this is too much. I'm not gonna find it.
Maybe look up like Shia LaBeouf method acting or something like that.
That actually is what I googled.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not saying any like specific instances.
Yeah, I remember hearing like kind of crazy. Okay, so here's the Jared Leto one. Much was made of the fact Jared Leto did not drop his guise as the Joker during the entire shoot of Suicide Squad, with him only answering to Mr. J during filming. It was also claimed that Leto sent castmates including Will Smith, Margot Robbie, and Viola Davis used condoms, sex toys, and live rats.
Just to stay in character and be fucking mischievous?
Yeah, he fell so far into being the Joker. Yeah, I don't know, dude.
I actually got a headline here for Shia LaBeouf.
Okay.
Shia LaBeouf cut his own face, fought the cast, and got a tooth pulled while making Fury.
Yeah, crazy, man. Yeah. That's a little bit more on the line of like, I'm just really into the role and want it to be as good as possible. Jared Leto is just like, you're a fucking freak, dude. Like, leave me alone. And that's why that movie didn't work. That in a nutshell. It's like why they had to cut so many of his scenes and shit like that.
Damn.
So, yeah, more on Mad Max. I'm intrigued. I don't have too much to say because it's like I almost have to go and watch the first three again to really have more of an opinion on it, but this looks fun. It looks like a lot going on in it. Looks like a great movie theater movie. It looks like an IMAX like must.
Yeah.
For the action, for what I know of the sound. Is it being made by the same person that made? Can you click on Fury Road while you're there just to match the names up?
I don't know how to get back.
Hit back. Yeah, it's a crazy premise.
Jesus Christ. For some reason, I was like, no, that's going to take me back to Google.
You went back and then you didn't read what you needed to read off of it.
Oh, because I was already looking up the other one so I could say it together. Give me a sec.
I know the name too, and I just can't pull it.
Director George Miller.
Yeah, George Miller. Okay, that's
same director,
same person. Yeah, so this should be just as good. Like, high hopes for this one. That'll be one to check out. Okay, and last on the trailer front, I have been I'd rewatched Godzilla and King of Monsters as of last podcast, I believe, in the taste test. This week I watched Kong vs. Godzilla again, and good timing, we got a trailer. So the Kong vs. Godzilla, it's Kong Godzilla. What is it? Rise of an Empire, New Empire. That's what.
New Empire. Yeah.
And there's a lot going on in this trailer, and it looks like it piggybacks off of what happened in the last movie. Did you see this in the theater with me on Kong vs. Godzilla? Right.
Yeah.
You probably don't remember shit from it.
Nope.
So
I remember them making like a defibrillator for him.
Yeah, they did. They did do that. Yeah, out of a ship. So you dive more into Hollow Earth in that movie. It's something that they had referenced in King of Monsters as a way that Godzilla had been traveling so quickly across like the world.
Okay, yeah, that's actually coming back to me now.
And in this, in Kong vs. Godzilla, you actually go to the Hollow Earth.
Because it had something to do with like the energy source that Godzilla was drawing from, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was where Kong got his axe.
Yes, he breaks it off from like the stuff in there. Well, I think he breaks off a part of Godzilla, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But yeah, they go to the Hollow Earth. You get your first like look at that, and it's like a really cool, CGI world. None of it's fucking real, which sucks.
No, but it all looks very visually
it's super
appealing.
clean.
Like, definitely
super
a movie
clean.
theater movie.
And yeah, it was a blockbuster. I do think that there's some stuff that the franchise itself right now, and I agree. Like, I also feel that way with this movie trailer too. I think the first Godzilla 2014 was fairly grounded. Like I had mentioned a few weeks ago, like you only got like 11 minutes of Godzilla in that first one.
No.
So like it wasn't as over the top. Like it was a lot more about the people and like the destruction that it was causing and like the effects on the people. And then the more we've gotten into this franchise, and we're now 4 movies in, including like Kong Skull Island. Kong Skull Island's probably the second best or the best, depending on your opinion of it, of all 4 so far. But it just doesn't, like, the scale doesn't feel the same on like Godzilla and Kong now. Like they don't feel, it feels like they're like computer generated things that are just stuck on a screen to me a little bit. It doesn't feel, you don't feel the weight of these characters the same way that I think you felt in Godzilla 2014. And I think that causes you to lose something a little bit in the immersion that you get from the movies. With that being said, to your point, I do think this is like very much a movie theater movie, right? Like this is going to be something that I'm 100% showing up opening night to in IMAX or in Dolby, and I'm going to enjoy watching it. I'm not saying I won't, but it definitely looks very heavily in the world of like, just mash these 2 recognizable monsters together, have some cool action sequences, and there's a good chance that the story around it's not going to be great.
Can I ask a question for my own naiveness?
Yeah.
The movie that's in theater right now that I haven't seen, Godzilla Minus One, is that part of the same franchise, or is that its own separate thing?
It is not.
Oh, it's separate. Okay.
Separate thing. So they show that, like you would mention, like there's definitely some like things that kind of stand out. You have like a robotic arm on
Kong.
Kong. I have to imagine that has something to do with the technology that they had been working on with like Mega Godzilla, the robotic one that is in the last movie. That's kind of the foe of Kong and Godzilla in that. I will say, like, one of the things I did like about Kong versus Godzilla is I like once they've beat the shit out of each other and they have this moment of like respect for each other. Like, I like that they've at least set that up.
Yeah.
And basically you get to a point where it's like Godzilla kind of alphas Kong, because I think if Godzilla doesn't alpha you, you're forever his enemy. Like, that's the way they set it up in King of Monsters, at least, too.
Yeah.
In King of Monsters, there's a million different kaiji, right? Is that what these are?
Yeah, kaiju. Or kaiju.
Kaiju, yeah. So, like, there's a bunch of different ones, and it's like, basically, there's always got to be one superior that keeps them all in line, and that, like, sets order in the world. And it's like, if Godzilla's not that one, he's going to just continually come after it to become that one. So he kind of, like, suns Kong at some point in there, but they make it a pretty competitive fight. And then it's like, all right, we're boys now. As long as you're in line, like, we're cool. And to me, like, that feels a little bit like a Pride of Lions type thing.
Okay.
It works, you know? And so for this, you're introduced to, like, it almost feels like Planet of the Apes a little bit.
So I was thinking that. I was getting that vibe.
Yeah, like, it's like
when the other ape walks through, like, the fog or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, just imagine if it's like Kobo or fucking.
It's definitely that. And then when you get the scene of them all like running towards the what is assumed to be the evil ape.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's like it's weird because like 3 weeks ago we got the new Planet of the Apes trailer. And you're like, okay, like this seems kind of similar. Like it feels eerily similar. And they've probably held it for a reason. I don't know if we have an actual date for when this comes out. Feels like it's got to be in the next few months. But we'll get one more trailer that maybe shows you 1 to 2 more trailers that maybe show you more of the April 12th. You could have just
oh wow, I wasn't looking while I was typing. That's the problem.
So April. So you're 5 months out from it, where you're gonna get another couple trailers, and you'll probably get more of the interaction between the bad guy and Kong. But you were asking me about where the robotic arm comes from, and my thoughts on that is that they're not showing you in order of like what happens. So I feel like both of those scenes where he has the robotic arm are probably later on in the movie.
Okay.
Like maybe he's getting his ass kicked for the beginning of it. What I assume is going to happen.
In my own ignorance, like when they showed that first scene where he like punches up from under the ground and you see the yellow robotic arm, I was like, are we getting another crossover movie? I immediately thought Bumblebee.
Yeah, I don't know if that would play here. I don't know if it would work quite as well. What I think is probably the way it's going to play out, though, is Kong's all happy in his new world. They're exploring it, and they come across this other ape. This other ape's probably going to kick the shit out of Kong. Somewhere in the earlier part of the movie.
Well, it was also a gang of apes.
Yeah, but, like, are those other ones going to be, like, tough guys, or are they going to just fall in line?
Fall in line, yeah, but, like, it's still the masses versus one.
So he's going to get his ass kicked, and it's going to lead to them awakening Godzilla or
Why
Godzilla.
I keep showing my boy Kong taking L's?
I mean, he just can't hang, dude. I don't know. Can't hang. So he has to call up his boy, and then they maybe give Kong like an upgrade.
Okay.
You know, and that's how they even the playing field. And for him to beat the shit out of him and Godzilla. I didn't like the scene of them both running towards the screen together.
No.
That was kind of weird.
That's going to be one of those scenes where it just doesn't really give you scale and it's just too much CGI.
Yeah. Yeah, like also Godzilla, like it's just I don't think he should be able to run like that.
Definitely Kong should definitely be faster.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like we have a lot to look forward to. We got a lot of trailers this week. We still have some stuff to wrap up 2024, which is cool, or 2023. And then, we have some stuff to look forward to in 2024. Trailers abound. We're getting into that time where, like, there's going to be a dead period, I imagine, in January, February, and then see kind of what happens. You get towards, like, the March, April, and you'll get back to blockbusters dropping again. So I'm sure we got more trailers coming.
We'll probably get some good stuff in February, but yeah, January is probably going to be dead.
Yeah, this was a fun week as far as dropping some trailers, so I was into it. Let's get on, though, to our favorite segment every week and something I teased earlier. If you could close the curtains, Dante, and reopen them,
Well, no, they just open.
Okay, cool. And this is the taste test,
Hey.
where we talk about, the stuff that we've been watching, some stuff that's coming out, what we've liked, disliked over the past week that we've been viewing. Throw some recommendations to y'all. And if I could, Dante, could I take the start here?
Oh, yeah, please.
Because I teased something.
You were very excited, yeah.
I teased something. I've been holding something.
Okay.
I haven't talked about it yet.
What you got?
We have a new number one.
Oh, for real?
We have a new number one, everybody.
Yo, what the fuck did you watch? I'm intrigued.
We have a new number one on what I've seen in the movie theater the past year.
Oh, man. Wait. Damn, you went to the theaters without me?
Yeah, you work, dude.
Bro.
And I thought it would be an appropriate segue.
Kind of hurt my feelings, yo. I thought we were boyfriends.
We talked about Kong vs. Godzilla.
Huh.
You mentioned there being a new Godzilla movie in the theaters.
Yeah. Oh, you watched it?
It's incredible.
Yeah?
It's the best movie that's come out this year.
Holy shit. All right, I got to see this.
It's mind-blowingly good. It is a Japanese movie from the studio in Japan that's made a bunch of Godzilla movies.
Okay.
I wish I could remember the name of them. I don't. It's almost like impossible to explain how good it is. It's like everything that that a Godzilla movie can be and that a monster movie can be. It's like it's got incredible character building. It's got everything. What does it have for? Who's it by?
Director?
No, I was looking for the company that made it.
Oh, studio. Why doesn't IMDb give me that?
It's probably further down. It's usually like under the cast stuff.
Production. Oh my god, that's a whole separate.
It's not really that important. So just to give people like kind of a background to what this movie is, right? And first and foremost, I'm not a big subtitle guy.
Oh, the whole movie subtitles?
Yes.
Okay.
It's all in Japanese, it's all English subtitles. But it's like the perfect amount of subtitles where like the dialogue's great, but it's not overly heavy in dialogue, so it's easy to keep up with that and also focus on what's going on in the movie and not get lost in anything. And what makes this movie like so incredible is first and foremost, it's visually stunning.
Okay.
It's top tier action. Bear with us for a moment because
we knew that was coming.
4 minutes out of the room, Bailey is back, and she's probably back with a toy. I will get that.
Well, yeah, sorry.
Okay, so yeah, it hits on so many notes. So like, first of all, it is visually stunning. It's what a action movie, a blockbuster movie should be, and it's Godzilla in a way that, like, coming off of watching the other Godzilla movies over the past couple of weeks, like I was saying about the size and the way it kind of feels the later into these American Godzilla movies that we've been getting have felt, this has none of that. You feel the weight of every step that Godzilla takes in this movie. You feel when he uses atomic breath, it feels like a nuclear bomb is going off. Like the sheer destruction of this Godzilla, it's second to none. It's the greatest version of it I've ever seen. And what makes this movie so fantastic is on top of like Godzilla being incredible and the visuals being incredible, is you have this great backdrop of this like incredible story. And the movie takes place at the end of World War II. And it's a Japanese kamikaze pilot that has come back from the war when he wasn't supposed to. As I said, kamikaze was never meant to come back. He doesn't follow his orders and doesn't go through with what he's supposed to. He lands at a small island that's meant to just repair planes for pilots, and his plane's fine, and they know it's fine, and they're like, you basically abandoned, you're already shamed for that. And while on this small island, they get attacked by Godzilla.
Oh shit!
It's the first time he's been sighted. Like, there's like on this island, they talk about there being already a myth of this like animal, and they call it Godzilla, but like mainland doesn't know about him yet. None of that stuff. And he has this opportunity again to be brave and take a shot at Godzilla, and he doesn't do it, and it leads to all of these people getting murdered on the island. basically, except for him. And he has to return home to where his village is destroyed by bombs. The people that he knows there knows that he wasn't supposed to come home, so he's shamed. He's living with the torment of not following through on either of these opportunities and essentially being a coward, and has to go forward like that. And you have this like great backdrop of this story, and like you learn, like you just see this guy have to deal with that and never being able to like get past like the shame that he's living with. And then Godzilla returns to the mainland, and it's like you have this whole, like, it's just so full to where you could take Godzilla on its own and it's a great movie. You could take that whole backdrop of a story and you have something there that you could do on its own, and like you combine it together and it just makes for this like this brilliant experience. It was I when I left the theater, I was like, I'd been reading about how good it was, and it's making a ton of money. It's the most subtitled live action movies made in the United States, I think, ever. So I had heard a lot of hype going into this, and I wasn't. Funny enough, I'm generally a person where if something's hyped up too much, I like tend to go the other way. Like that's my thing, right? I walked out of the theater, and I was like, I can't in good conscience put this behind Mission Impossible or
it
John
sounds like
Wick.
It's one of those movies where you almost walked out of there and you were just in awe, like, holy shit, that was good.
I'm still.
Oh shit.
I'm still like in this world where I'm like, am I thinking this is too good? Like it makes no sense to me how good it is. Like, look at that fucker, dude.
Yeah.
It's like so like, dude.
And just from what I saw from the little trailer I was watching right now on IMDb, like I can definitely see what you're talking about now, comparing scale on this versus what we just watched for Kong vs. Godzilla, or Kong and Godzilla.
Like, you have to realize in the American version, he's like a good guy now. Like, he's Team Human.
Yeah.
Right? In this movie, that's what he looks like. He's fucking menacing. He's terrifying. When you see him on the screen, dude, it is like he doesn't eat people. He just picks them up and fucking throws them. Like, he just whacks shit with his tail, and like everything he does is just pure destruction. And like there's times where he gets pissed off, and like he's just like, it's a mission for him to destroy. And like he's just the perfect villain. It's like the perfect antithesis to this guy who's dealt with so much like shame and failure for not showing up in these moments that he was supposed to show up for. It's a must watch. Yeah. If you're a moviegoer, it is a must watch.
Yeah,
I don't know.
To go back on your stat from earlier, it's the second highest debut for any live action foreign film, only beaten by 2002 Hero.
I didn't like that movie. Boring. This is significantly better. That was a Jet Li movie too, and I love Jet Li. Even if you're not in, like, you're a person who like will only go out to the movies for special occasions and things like that, this is it. This is the one, dude. Like, man,
I can tell they didn't overly use Godzilla too, because it has an estimated budget of $15 million.
Yeah, like it just works the way he's in it a lot too. And I thought when I first watched the trailer for this, like I was like, oh, I don't know if I think he looks great. It's like, no, dude, like it holds up this whole time through, and it 100% lived up in IMAX. It was. I don't want, like, there's only so much more I can say about it, but man, like it is the best movie I've seen this year.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to get out and find some time this weekend to see it.
It's tough around here too because it's not playing in every theater.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's fortunately in South Bay.
Okay.
But there was only one showing yesterday.
Fuck.
So I saw it at like 4:15 in the afternoon in IMAX yesterday.
Okay.
It was the only time. Like, I looked, and it's not like, it's one of those movies you're only going to see in the city. So it's like you have to go to South Bay, or you'd have to go to the Commons, you have to go to like those type of theaters. Like Braintree's not going to show it. And I would never recommend seeing it in a bad theater either.
No.
Because you're going to, not that it's not good at regardless, but like,
to appreciate like the visual experience and the sound of it and all that.
It was 2 hours and 5 minutes, and like it was the perfect length. Not too long, not too short. Held my attention from start to finish. I loved the characters. Like all of the different supporting characters were all like great. Yeah, it's fantastic. So that's my big one right now. Is I got to December and I found my movie of the year. Okay, so let's move on to something we've both watched. And we'll, I think I did a good job of not spoiling too much with Godzilla or spoiling anything for that matter.
No,
and I hope I was able to still hype it up for you.
Dude, I'm so pumped.
This one we're gonna go a little bit more in detail, I would say. So let's do a little 3, 2, 1 spoiler. Like, so everybody, if you were gonna watch Nancy Drew, if you've become interested in it at all, or if you've been watching and you haven't finished yet, come back to this for us. We
both just finished it.
We both finished all 4 seasons, yeah. And so, overarching thoughts. How are you feeling?
I am kind of sad it's over. I love the way they played around with like the relationships between the different characters. I think they played all the mysteries at a really good speed, and overall, it was a really rewarding show.
I agree overall. However,
yeah, I see where you're going.
The season 4 was a little messy to me. And to get there, I kind of want to start with season 3. So last week we had left off and you were in the middle of season 3. And I had asked you about Ace and Nancy.
Yeah.
How'd you feel by the end of season 3?
So you knew what point I was at last week.
Yeah.
By the time I figured out the plot twist, I was upset with you.
Yeah.
You set me up.
Yeah, would you have rather I told you?
No.
Like if I was
not,
wait to see the end of this season for like Nancy and Ace.
No, but like we're talking
Nancy
about it, and you're
Ace,
like, oh, how do you feel about Nancy and Ace? That whole play, and so now I'm like, oh yeah, all right, cool. Now I'm fucking with their vibe. Like it looks like they're about to get hooked up or whatever, and then boom, bomb drops. Nah, not happening.
And so for what it's worth, great tease.
Yeah.
Right. Like, well, like they got you there. They built. You wanted to see them together. You finally get them together, and it's just taken right from you. On top of that, to give you like a dream sequence, basically.
So you know what's
like
another
a Final
thing
Destination type thing.
Because we were talking about the relationships last week, and I was still before the point where George and Ace separated. Or I'm sorry, George and Nick separated.
Okay.
And so like that killed me too. I was like, damn, all right, like they were really good together. Fuck, I'd love to see them work through their shit.
I appreciate what they did with their relationship, though.
Yeah.
Like quickly moving over to George.
We're gonna
and Nick
jump around a little
quick.
bit, yeah.
I appreciate that they didn't just like be like, okay, endgame, like they're gonna get back together. It was like, no, they're both like mature adults that are in different places in their life, and I like when they're doing like he's plotting out the road trip, and it's very much like we still love each other, but we're not right for each other and what we want. And as long as I can still see your road from mine, I'm good. Like I liked that a lot.
Yeah. No, I like that they made it work without them having to be together, and it made it so like it's not always the predictable happy ending. You know what I mean? What's up with you? You want to leave again? Or are you just being attention?
Bailey. Yeah, this is gonna be like the Bailey cut, I suppose. Like
yeah.
The disjointed. We'll have a million little interludes where I've had to get up and let her out of the room or let her outside. So yeah, George and Nick. The thing I appreciated is like it's not often on like a CW show like this that you just get like a mature like adult relationship, and like the fact that they end it in a place where like they didn't have to be together, I think was something to be appreciated. But with Nancy and Ace, yeah, you like they realize they have feelings for each other. You build up the whole season, you get this moment with them, and then it just gets ripped away from you, which is cool, right? I appreciate that.
I love how they threw me a second plot twist too.
What was the second?
The point where you feel like they're about to break the curse. I'm like, oh, this is a cheap cop out.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, no, never mind.
But like with that being said, season 4 for them, I didn't love. Like, it felt like rushed by the time you get to the end.
I don't know if they were like losing funding or viewership or whatever, and like season 4 was all they had left, but I also felt like they just left a lot of storylines open.
Well, I read this today. Apparently, they found on episode 10 when they were filming that they weren't getting renewed.
Episode 10 of season 4?
Yeah.
That makes sense, actually.
So, like, all of a sudden, they had to find a way to write the stories to
And
not
just wrap it up,
continue. Yeah, to have, like, finality. And, yeah, that's where it's like, because I kept watching it, and I got to a point later in the season where I was like, did they not know this was going to end, and are we going to get, like, a cliffhanger finish?
Yeah.
You know, and I was getting kind of disappointed because I was like, man, are we just going to get, like, no finality to any of this stuff?
Because it didn't really feel like they were wrapping anything up until the last half of, like, the last episode.
Yeah, I to the point where how'd you feel about Tristan?
I felt like he was convenient. I didn't really love him at first, but, like, I liked how that relationship developed, and then the whole plot twist there with him being the Sin Eater.
Yeah, like, I really didn't want to see them together. And I liked him by the end of it, but it was more like I like Ace a lot, and I don't want it to end with this curse being the reason that she ends up having to be.
But they did a good job with getting it to a point where you were kind of okay if they ended up together, and it's like, fuck, like,
He was a
all
good
right.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like he was a likable guy. But it's just not what I think the audience would have wanted. And by the time you're in like episode 10 and there's still no inkling of like any hope for Nancy or Ace, it's a little bit like, dude, Bailey,
What do you want?
hey, I think you're correct where like, yeah, they get you to a point where you're okay with it. However, it's not what I think anybody in the fan base or the audience would have wanted.
No.
And then you kind of get this like rushed like episodes 12 and 13 to get you back. Like they had little moments still with like Nancy and Ace, but you go from like him finding out that she stole his memory essentially to protect him to him forgiving her all within like the span of like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You know? You didn't have any time for them to really like deal or cope with it. And I think they give you a good enough explanation, but it's more like, hey, we don't have enough episodes to flesh this out.
Because they were probably going to try and play it out into another season where it was like, okay, now they don't want to be together.
Yeah, I wonder if you'd write Tristan out if you know, like, if you had another season or if he would be a holdover into the next season, you know?
Yeah.
And they give you a good enough reason with him, like, when they're in, like, their subconscious and he's, like, he can just see, like, she might like me, but, like, I'm not the one that she really wants to be with. So yeah, I thought it was just a little rushed by the end there. And, like, you know the other thing I didn't like, Dante, that was a revelation of season 4 for me?
What?
The fact that all 4 seasons take place over 1 year.
Yes. I was like, that's way too much to happen over the course of 1 year.
Yeah, it almost invalidates a lot of the things that, like,
how did they get that much growth?
yes, like, it's just a weird thing where it's like, okay, so what did Nancy was with Nick for like a month and a half, and then George and Nick get like engaged and break up in like a 6-month period. She goes from like, I want to go to college.
Like 4 different people in that time period.
Basically. Yeah, like she wants to go to college and then suddenly doesn't want to, like, you know, like it was just that made that fact that I don't know why they felt like they needed to include that. They could have just left that out and left the time period up in the air.
Because you'll notice in like the other seasons, like they're all within like a couple days of each other for the most part, and then you just kind of get a time gap to the next season. And I guess I was just thinking like that was a bigger time gap than maybe a couple months.
But it's literally 4 seasons.
Yeah.
It's like they went through like winter. But
yeah.
Even still, like this takes place in Maine.
Yeah.
And I don't remember a winter.
No.
Right?
No, not really. No.
They didn't have like a blizzard episode.
Yeah, there was not really any like snowy episodes.
And you would definitely have that. Even if it's a Cape Town in Maine, like there would have been. Like, it felt like it was all summer and fall, like, kind of, the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, she's wearing, like, a beanie and, like, a long jacket, but, like, there's never anything that's signifying, like, that if this all took place over a year, you would have had 3 months where it was like unbearable to live on the fucking water in Maine.
Yeah.
So that was just a fact that I felt like they didn't need to include, and they threw in there, and I was like, I don't think I like this.
There was a lot of stuff that, definitely upset the whole show and like their unfolding of season 4. But like I said, there was a lot of storylines they left unfinished too.
Which ones?
You know how they had like the huge blow up where like, Ace's mom gets pissed off because she overhears that his dad has a secret son or whatever, right? But they never really played on that beyond like him getting kicked out. Like all of a sudden him and his father are good again, like his mom's around, and it's like, well, what happened? Is he still kicked out? Like,
which that makes sense. That they could have played that if it's like that took place over a month.
Yeah.
But now that you know it was all within 1 year,
it's like, oh no, you were just pissed off at me a month ago?
Yeah, you were gone for like a week basically.
Yeah.
And like Ace goes from like Ace decides within a year, like, and I guess like the year after you graduate high school, you're gonna like find a lot of stuff like about like what you want to do with your future, and you do those types of like you think about that stuff more.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit like he all of a sudden went from he was into like the autopsy stuff in the earlier seasons.
Yeah.
But to then all of a sudden know within like a 6-month period that it was like, this is what I want to do with my life, when like his early character was like very much like into computers and like
like I thought he was
stuff like that. Like that stuff all kind of flipped a little bit. So yeah, that the timing thing bothers me a lot when you look back at the whole series, knowing that, and the fact that they never addressed that. Other than the fact that like, so that in it
you
first
know what's
started,
another big thing they didn't address? Was it season 2 or season 3? It was season 3 where they start talking about, the road ahead, which is basically like their version of the Illuminati.
they never closed that, huh?
No.
We never got anything out of that.
No.
That sucks. I was thinking though, and there's probably a world where this doesn't happen, but you know how like you get like the movie, like the streaming movie that's like a follow up on a TV show?
Yeah.
That this show would be a good thing for that.
If they could just cap up like those open.
Not even that, like it's like you've set up all these storylines where she's now going to find the other skin or sin eaters. Sorry.
Sin eaters, yeah.
Not
skin eaters. Wow.
But the other sin eaters, right? Like there's like story you can pick up like 2 years down the line or something, and do a movie that's an hour and a half long on like Paramount or one of these that it works for,
Yeah.
And the only reason I don't know if that's possible is like I don't know what the fanfare was for this show. I don't know how dedicated of a fan base it is. I know that the Reddit only has 6,000 subscribers. I saw that today, which isn't that many. So I'm sitting there like probably wasn't big enough to get that. But because of these storylines that they left open or set up, like there is room for them to do more with it.
The other thing that fucked up with like the whole like, oh, this was all over the course of a year is like, what the fuck's going on with that police department? Every season we had a different person running it.
Yeah, like they burned through people on there. Yeah, that's also very true. Yeah, they just didn't need to do the year thing.
Yeah.
Because even like her mom only being dead a year felt really weird to me.
Because it was like, okay, like, because they had touched upon like when Carson started getting into the relationship with the DA, and she was like, oh, like you're still hung up on Kate, and I was like, damn, bro, like come on, that was a minute ago. I didn't think like, oh shit, no, that was less than a year ago.
It makes him look kind of like an asshole, right?
Yeah,
like
now it's
within
like, oh,
a year he fucked his wife's best friend, and then he impregnated a woman.
Yeah,
all within a year. And like Nancy by like the first 2 seasons would have fucking hated him for that, but like she finds out he's having a new kid, and it's not even like doesn't even like affect her whatsoever.
So like that 1 year thing just fucked up a lot of shit.
Yeah, that kind of throws off a lot of the series for me. So yeah, overall, like I really like the series, but that last season just kind of like unravels a lot, and I blame that probably more on studio stuff and not getting renewed more than I do the show writers themselves, because they like that the long road thing or whatever.
The road ahead,
sorry. Yeah. I feel like that was probably something that they had planned to be more.
And I feel
involved.
like that could have been a really good storyline to dive into.
Like, why wasn't that season 4?
I have no idea. That's what I thought season 4 was going to be, and then all of a sudden it was the Founders, and I was like, well, fuck, are they the road ahead? And they just never mentioned it.
Yeah, they left that completely untied.
Damn. Then what was the other thing? Oh, how did you feel about them like just shoving random messages down your throat by the start of like by the end of season 2?
Well, I think it makes sense once you get to the founders, right? Like, cause like that was a lot about like oppression and like, things like that. Like,
Yeah, but it was just like, like injustice for black women, the random one episode where it was like the gay black dude struggling to come out to his dad.
there was a Native American like subplot through some of that last season.
Or like the girl that Nick was dating in the end, that identified as like they them. Like they just threw a lot of that stuff in there that it was just like, okay, why?
I just,
And like I'm not against it by any means. It just almost like didn't fit. It just felt like it was forced in for no reason.
I think it doesn't fit for us, but I think when you look at the demographic that's primarily watching the CW,
Okay.
I think that's where you're kind of playing into the audience that you
Yeah.
have a little bit.
It's just like it like kept trying to throw like messages of like awareness.
Yeah,
Like why by season 4 do I need to find out that Carson's dyslexic?
yeah, that was a weird one. I will say this though, it wasn't heavy-handed enough to where it like bothered me heavily. Like it was just kind of like, okay, like they're doing that, and I moved past it and it didn't really bother me too much.
Yeah.
It didn't like it didn't ruin the viewing experience by like with it, but it was a little bit like, let's just throw these little like subs in.
Do you have a favorite episode of season 4?
The game?
The
The
80s
board
episode,
game.
hell yeah.
No, that's the prom one, isn't it?
No, that's 70s. The board game was it was a game from the 80s, and like when they're going through the game, they start throwing all these random 80s style like one-liners
Yeah.
and shit. When Nick's fighting them, his shirt's all ripped off like
Mhm.
like the fucking
Yeah.
80s action movies.
He
I love
was
that
pretty
shit.
awesome in that scene too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was definitely my favorite episode of season 4.
They even
was
did the
game.
trope of like when the girl came in, he was like, "You got to get out of here. You're my weakness." Blah blah blah. Like,
That stood out to me as like the best episode
Yeah.
of the show, of the season, at least. Yeah, overall, like I still recommend it. I wish that there was more. I think that's the big takeaway for me by the end of season 4 is like I wish they had more time.
yeah, like if I could summarize it in any way, like it was a great show and it just didn't end well.
Gone too soon.
Yeah.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Nancy Drew. Well, there'll never be another like her.
You know what else I noticed too? Like, I don't know if it was more prominent in the books, but you notice how like George kept like coming out with a crowbar? Like, was that symbolic to like something she had in the books or something? Do you know?
I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know, but yeah, she definitely brings it out to the mob.
It was just like, why does she always have this crowbar? But like, not always. It was just like sometimes they'd be like, oh yeah, we got to throw this in
That
here.
was her number one form of defense, dude. Maybe there's something in the earlier seasons that I'm not remembering for why that was like her weapon.
I can't remember now, because I think she just like grabbed it at some random point in the first season, and then it was just always there.
She also like the whole year thing, like Bess's character over the like that being over the course of a year. That's so much. Like from going from being like she went through the like trying to assimilate into a rich family, to then
getting kicked out of said family,
and then being like a master magician, witch.
Oh yeah.
All in the course of a year. That's crazy.
Like
that dude
running the historical society and then moving on to making your own underground historical society, like
the fact that her like cousin or whatever, who Nancy was like dating for a brief moment there, has been dead and it's not even been a year.
and they never talk about him again.
That's crazy. Yeah, like they just like that all fucks me up a little bit. Okay. Anything else that you've watched over the past week?
Oh no, that was it. That's why I talked about it so much.
Okay. I have one.
Crap!
Okay.
I'm sorry. I watched a Christmas movie on Apple TV last night.
Okay, is it a recommend?
Yeah, actually, I liked it.
Anybody good in it?
Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds.
It's funny.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny. It's basically it's a different take on what is it? Christmas Carol, Scrooge and the Ghost of Christmas Past and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Basically like Will Ferrell's character is the ghost of Christmas Present or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of focusing on them like running it as a business and trying to change people for the better or whatever. I liked it.
Okay.
It's a loose premise, easy watch, kind of like a family style movie.
If I ever actually subscribe to Apple TV, I'm on it.
Bro, you have to.
Maybe I will at some point. I have shit I can watch on other streaming services.
It's a great value, bro.
As far as what I'm watching now, I have moved on to a new TV show. It's not a new TV show. It's something I've watched before, but I'm doing a rewatch. I'm watching Orange is the New Black again. Have you watched it?
I have. I remember liking it in the beginning and then just not so much after.
I don't know how many seasons I watched originally. I didn't watch the whole show, though, I don't think.
I know I didn't watch the whole show. I think I watched maybe the first 2 seasons. By season 3, I think maybe I was done with it.
I'm halfway through season 2, and I'm still enjoying it. I do fast forward through all the flashbacks to, like, the backstory about how the people got to jail. I generally, like, kind of fast forward through that and just watch the stuff that's, like, current. But, yeah, I mean, I'm still enjoying it. It's, like, I remember really liking the first few seasons when it was on. I remember some stuff that's coming up, and I'm like, I don't know what season that takes place in. So, like, okay. I'm interested in seeing how some of it unfolds. But yeah, I think it's still a show that holds up pretty well, and it's cool. I like all the characters; they're pretty funny. And
no, yeah, they definitely did a good play with the characters, and like I said, I liked it in the first 2 seasons. It's just something about I think the 3rd season that I disconnected from it.
Well, I believe in like this. This show's fucking old as shit, so I can just talk about it freely, right?
Yeah.
I think the end of season 2 is when the girl dies, right?
Wait, who dies?
Who am I forgetting? The bald-headed lesbian girl.
Oh yeah. It was like, what was it, like Tasty? No, that was the girl.
It's Tasty's best friend, and I just
it started with P.
Pussy.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I think it's when she gets killed by one of the guards, right?
Yeah.
And it leads to, I think season 3, there's like a riot or something like that. And they hold up in the prison.
Yes, okay.
So like I know that's coming. And I remember watching it and being like, damn, like that was super sad. Because Pussy is a pretty good character.
Maybe that's why I stopped watching. I was like, damn, R.I.P., I'm done.
Yeah. Those are always tough to like when they kill off a good character to like kind of.
But you got to appreciate it, right? In like a world where they never kill anybody in these fucking shows or movies anymore.
Yeah, have like the courage to take out a main character. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm watching. As far as what's coming up, we have a new Seen Unseen.
Yes.
Screen Unseen?
Screen Unseen.
Screen Unseen, yeah. So we did this last month, and we ended up seeing Next Goal Wins in a mystery showing. We have bought another mystery showing ticket for this month, and I hope they keep doing this.
Yeah.
Every month. I kind of look forward to this now.
I am looking forward to it just because, like, Next Goal Wins was fun. Probably something, like you said, I wouldn't have otherwise gone to see.
Do you have any predictions for what this could be?
No, so I haven't actually looked into it. I know it's a 2-hour, 3-minute runtime.
Yeah.
I feel like it maybe could be, what was it, the Clint Eastwood movie, the rowing movie?
No, it's Tom Hanks.
Is that Tom Hanks?
It's Tom Hanks' movie, yeah. And I was thinking it could be that. Another one that I'm thinking it could be is The Claw.
The Claw?
The wrestling movie.
Oh, okay.
Why do you not believe me?
Because I don't. God damn it. All right, fine.
Like, I know I'm right, though. Like, this motherfucker, just so everybody knows, had to look up Clint Eastwood to see if I was fucking right or not. But it's like, of the two of us, who would be more in line on this one?
Wait, what's the name of that movie? Isn't it like a boy from something or something like that?
No, I have no clue. But he's not, like, I don't know if he's in it or if he's just
he's directing it.
The director, yeah. So you're looking at his acting credits.
Never mind. I'm not going to find it now.
Yeah. So I was thinking, I was thinking it could be The Claw. It could be that rowing movie. You are just failing. Go back to IMDb.
Just shut up.
Go back to IMDb and go to director credits, Dante. You're looking at actor credits on his main page. You're already on IMDb. It's open.
No, I'm not.
In the top left corner.
Oh, fuck. All right. Whatever. I typed it.
Oh my God. Dude, this is like the shit I have to deal with, dude.
How do I get to director credits?
Scroll.
Bro.
You just saw like writer and
I got producer, actor, writer.
There's probably a producer on it too. All right. Since this is a puzzle that you need me to figure out for you.
Because I don't think it's Tom Hanks, bro.
Dude, I know.
Clooney, that's who it is.
Is it Clooney? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so fair enough. I'm closer than you are, though. The boys in the boat.
Yeah. I just knew you were wrong about Tom Hanks, and I had to prove
Yeah,
that.
and I knew you were wrong about fucking Eastwood, dude.
All right.
Old ass Clint Eastwood. The other one, so I was thinking it could be Wonka.
Oh, that'd be sick. But I feel like the purpose of this is for like movies that probably aren't going to be huge.
Which is why I think the Iron Claw makes the
Most sense
to me.
Do
Because
you have a runtime for that?
it's getting like rave reviews. 2 hours and 12.
So it could be that, yeah.
But The Boys in the Boat is 2 hours and 3.
Oh, so that's spot on.
I don't know, like that movie's cool, but I don't know if I really want to see that. They actually have an Iron Claw early access screening on December 13th, but it's only in AMC Boston Common, so no thanks.
Nope.
Or Assembly Row.
Okay.
Because yeah, it wouldn't be like Aquaman. I hope it's not this. No, it's not that. Yeah, it's one of those two, I think. Or maybe like it's one of those two. It's got to be one of those two.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, looking forward to it. Dante, any interest in seeing Die Hard in the theater?
Honestly, yeah.
Dolby Atmos in South Bay. December 8th. It's Friday.
That's okay, Friday.
That's a Friday.
I think I could do that.
Well, we'll keep you guys updated if we end up going to see that one. I think that's all we've got for this week. I have no idea what the runtime is now because we've just had so many like
Cuts
starts and stops in this one here. But yeah, if the major takeaways to leave here with today, guys, pretty good trailers. Fuck Bob Iger, and go see Godzilla, dude.
Yeah.
Godzilla -1, new #1 movie of the year. It's taken us 12 months to get here. Well worth the wait. It's always the ones
take 12 months.
11 months and a couple days.
No, I'm just saying, like, Mission Impossible wasn't #1 for that long.
From like June.
Yeah, all right, so it took us 6 months to get a new #1.
Before that, it was like John Wick.
I think so.
But like, this is, again, I just need to stress to people, head and shoulders above those movies. Fantastic. Great cinema. Highly recommend. Let us know if you go out and see it. And otherwise, like we said earlier, if you could, if you've made it this far, drop a comment, throw us a like, follow if you haven't yet. Anybody who is, appreciate you. Catch us on socials, however little that I use them, at Good Taste Live and at For Those With Good Taste. We are on TikTok at FTWGT. Dante, they can find you on all the other places that you don't use.
I'll be back soon, I promise. Dirty
No,
Water
what?
ENT on YouTube, dirtywater_ENT on Twitch and Instagram.
And with that being said, everybody, we bid you adieu. Au revoir. Bang, bang.
Ski.
Sayonara.
Oh.
For those with good taste.